Guion Bluford, Jr. was the first black astronaut to fly in space. He was born in 1942 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He received an MS from Penn State in 1964 and both a MS and a PhD from the Air Force Institute of Technology, the first in 1974 and the other in 1978. Then he earned an MBA in 1987 from the University of Houston, Clearwater. He was a fighter pilot and engineer, retiring from the United States Air Force at the rank of colonel. Bluford was assigned to 4 NASA Space Shuttle missions. The first, STS-8, was the 8th mission, and the third flight for Challenger. STS-61A was the 22nd mission of NASA's space program. STS-39 was the 12th mission and one with Discovery. STS-53 was another Discovery mission. Ronald Irwin McNair was born in Lake City, South Carolina in 1950, and unfortunately, he died in 1986 as a member of the ill-fated Space Shuttle Challenger launch. McNair was a physicist, earning a BS in engineering physics from the North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University in 1971 and a PhD in physics from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1976. McNair completed 2 space shuttle missions. STS-41B was the 10th NASA mission and the 4th with Challenger. STS-51L was the 25th mission of the program. Frederick Gregory was born in 1941 in Washington, D.C. He became the 10th Deputy Administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and served from 2002 to 2005. He received a BS degree from the United States Air Force Academy and a master's degree from George Washington University in 1977. Gregory, a test pilot in the Air Force, retired earning the rank of colonel. Gregory completed 3 space missions. STS-51B was the 17th mission. STS-33 was on Discovery. STS-44 was on Atlantis. Charles Frank Bolden, Jr. was born in 1946 in Columbia, South Carolina. He was the 12th Deputy Administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, serving from 2009 to 2017. He earned a BS from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1968 and an MS from the University of Southern California in 1977. Bolden completed 4 missions. STS-61C was the 24th mission of the program and the 7th mission for Columbia. STS-45 was in 1992 an Atlantis shuttle. ST-31 was the 35th mission for NASA. STS-60 was the first mission with a Russian co-partner. Mae Jemison was born in 1956 in Decatur, Alabama. She earned both a MS and BA degrees from Stanford University in 1977 and a medical degree from Cornell University in 1981. Jemison is a physician, engineer, and professor. Jemison was the first Black female astronaut. She completed 1 mission, STS-47, which was the 50th NASA mission, and the second mission using Endeavour. Bernard Anthony Harris was born in 1956 in Temple, Texas. He is a medical doctor, graduating from the Aerospace School of Medicine in 1988. He completed his undergraduate degree from the University of Houston in 1978. Harris was the first Black American to walk in space. He spent 18 days, 6 hours, and 8 minutes in space. Harris completed 2 missions, STS-55 or Deutschland 2. This was the 55th overall flight for NASA, and it was with the shuttle Columbia. STS-63 was the second mission between the United States and Russia. Winston Elliott Scott was born in 1950 in Miami, Florida. He received a BA degree from Florida State University in 1972 and an MS from the Naval Postgraduate School in 1980. Scott was a pilot at the Space Center, retiring at the rank of captain from the United States Navy. He logged a total of 24 days, 14 hours, and 34 minutes in space, including 3 spacewalks, totaling 19 hours and 26 minutes. Scott completed 2 missions, STS-72, which was an Endeavour mission, and STS-87, which was the 88th flight for the program and the 24th flight of Columbia. Robert Lee Curbeam, Jr. was born in 1962 in Baltimore, Maryland. He earned a BS degree in aerospace engineering from the United States Naval Academy in 1984, a MS degree in aeronautical engineering from the Naval Postgraduate School in 1990, and a master's degree in aeronautical engineering from that school in 1991. He currently holds the record for the most spacewalks during a single space flight, when Curbeam completed 4 spacewalks. He retired at the rank of captain. Curbeam completed 3 missions, STS-85, which was on Discovery, STS-98 in 2001, a visit to the International Space Station on Atlantis. It was the first human spaceflight launch of the 21st century, and STS-116 to the International Space Station using Discovery. Michael Philip Anderson was born in 1959 in Plattsburgh, New York. Anderson lost his life with 6 fellow crew members killed in the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster when the craft disintegrated during its re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere in 2003. He was a pilot and scientist in the United States Air Force and achieved the rank of lieutenant colonel. Anderson was involved with 2 space missions, STS-89, which was a mission to the Mir space station using Endeavour. STS-107 was the 113th flight for the program. It was on the shuttle Columbia. Stephanie Diana Wilson was born in Boston, Massachusetts. She was an engineer, earning a BS from Harvard University in 1988 and MS in aerospace engineering from the University of Texas in 1992. As of 2021, her 42 days in space are the most of any female Black American astronaut. Wilson's 3 space missions were all to the International Space Station. STS-121 was using Discovery. STS-120 and STS-131 were completed, launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Joan Higginbotham was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1964. She is an electrical engineer, earning a BS from Southern Illinois University in 1987 and a MS from Florida Institute of Technology. Higginbotham's flight was STS-116, also to the International Space Station. She flew on Discovery. Benjamin Alvin Drew was born in 1962 in Washington, D.C. He was a command pilot, retiring from the United States Air Force as colonel. Drew earned a dual BS degree in physics and astronautical engineering from the United States Air Force Academy in 1984 and a MS in aerospace science from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Drew's two missions were also to the International Space Station. STS-18 used Endeavour. STS-133 was a discovery flight. Leland Melvin was born in 1964 in Lynchburg, Virginia. He attended the University of Richmond on a football scholarship, graduating in 1991 with a BS in chemistry. He earned a MS from the University of Virginia. He worked at NASA as an engineer. Melvin was named the NASA Associate Administrator for Education in October 2010. Melvin's flights were both to the International Space Station, and both were on Atlantis, STS-122 and STS-129. Robert Lee Satcher, Jr. was born in 1965 in Hampton, Virginia. He is a physician who earned his medical degree from Harvard Medical School. He earned a BS and PhD in chemical engineering from MIT. Dr. Satcher was also on STS-129 to the space station on Atlantis along with Melvin. I introduce three Black aerospace trailblazers. Edward Joseph Dwight Jr., born in Kansas City, Kansas in 1933, should have been the first Black astronaut. He was the first Black to complete Air Force training programs for NASA astronauts, completing Phase 2 of the Aerospace Research Pilot School. While training to become a test pilot, Dwight attended night classes at Arizona State University, and in 1957 he graduated cum laude with a BS in aeronautical engineering. Despite his outstanding display of readiness, he was not selected by NASA to be an astronaut. Dwight resigned from the Air Force in 1966, telling The Guardian that, quote, racial politics had forced him out of the NASA program and into the regular officer corps, end quote. Robert Henry Lawrence Jr., 1935 to 1967, became the first Black astronaut after demonstrating outstanding skills as an Air Force pilot. He was born in Chicago and graduated from Bradley University in 1956 with a BS in chemistry. He distinguished himself as an Air Force ROTC commander, a training instructor, and work that, quote, contributed great to the development of the space shuttle, end quote. Lawrence earned a PhD in physical chemistry from Ohio State University in 1965, and in 1967 he was selected to be an astronaut in the Manned Orbital Laboratory Program, thus becoming the country's first Black astronaut. Unfortunately, that same year, Lawrence was killed while instructing an airborne pilot. Livingston L. Holder Jr. born in 1956, is a former United States Air Force astronaut in the Manned Space Flight Engineering Program, active during the mid 1980s. He was assigned to fly as a military payload specialist on the space shuttle, but due to the Challenger accident in 1986, his flight was canceled. Holder was born in Detroit, Michigan, and has remained connected with the NASA program and served in other managerial capacities.